or excuse me, if we don't start making that thing look nice down there, so, you know, I'm pretty okay with it. If treasure trust and our city clerk can handle this, then I'm gonna move that we approve this.
I'd like just to make a comment. It's really important you read this document, you know, so it's complicated, but one key thing is that the property owner did. We have a building downtown that every 6 months they keep changing what's going on in there. Every time they change, they're not gonna be eligible for it. It's the property owner has to look at what can I do to improve my building, to keep a business here, so forth. That's important, and the fact that it's in the downtown redevelopment district, it's just on Main Street, it includes Clark Street, because we got businesses on Clark Street too. So, you know, that's important, everybody might get this tunnel vision, Main Street, Main Street, Main Street, Main Street. Clark Street has businesses all the way down there too, so, again, you know, when we talked about this, I said, holy mackerel, we got these businesses that change properties, that change, we go from this and that, and this and that, and whatever else, that's not the idea of that, you know, so it's gonna be limited, but the property owner wants to put into it and get back. So, my 2 bits, I think it's a good idea.
So I do too, so I'm not saying that it's not a good idea, I agree with everything that you guys have said, I just wanna make sure that, you know, there's some people that get stuff all the time because they can, and I just, you know, just to piggyback on what Jim just said, maybe I'm this little small business that's always been there, I wanna make sure that business can get the
Absolutely.
help
That'd be
also.
committee.
Well, there's provisions in here for the committee. Like
Yeah, this doesn't mean a lot of stuff.
It's members of the city to be on there.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
I'll move that we approve agenda item 10.
motion from Councilman Spear, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilman Hall. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, number 11.
My what?
Yeah, the next item is his too.
I didn't dismiss him, I just thanked him.
Thank you. So the next item is, sorry.
Let's see, we're on item 11, so that's Councilman Allworth, discussion for possible action. Approve support letters for White Pine Main Street's T-Mobile Hometown Revitalization Program and the E.L. Cord Foundation grant application in support of funding the Ely Redevelopment District Facade Improvement Incentive Program. This is the approval for you to go out.
Yeah, it's just showing the partnership that the city of Ely has to support this program, and I apologize for not getting a template of those 2 letters in advance, but I'll certainly get that first thing in the morning tomorrow.
I think we need support letters, so I'll move to approve this item.
Motion from Councilman Spear, second from Councilman Allworth. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 12, Councilwoman Williams Harper, discussion for possible action. Approval of wire crossing agreement by and among Nevada Northern Railway Foundation, Inc., the City of Ely, Nevada, and Beehive Telephone, Inc. I will disclose I am a part-time employee of the foundation. I'm not sure how that would affect us.
Mark Bassett contacted me and asked that we table this once more. I apologize that we continue to put it on, but
Move to table.
Motion from Councilman Spear to table. Do I have a second? Second from Councilwoman Williams Harper. Any further discussion? All in favor of table?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item tabled. Item 13, Councilmember City Attorney Cahoon, discussion for possible action. Approval of City Attorney training opportunity contracting as Lincoln County Deputy District Attorney.
so as you all may remember, when I was hired, this was brought up during my interview, I guess, where Dylan Frainer is the DA for Lincoln County. He reached out to me a year ago when I was accepting this job as an opportunity to just go down there once a week. It'd be Tuesdays. I'd be there all day Tuesday, working under Dylan Frainer. To basically, I'm viewing it as like a continued legal education. It'll be a great training opportunity for me to work under a very seasoned attorney. He's doing murder trials constantly. I'd be able to second chair on those trials, constantly dealing with felonies. He also deals with civil end of things. And because he's a DA, he's also sitting in his county commission meetings. So I think as an attorney, it's always good to have other attorneys to bounce things off of, to learn from, to essentially work with, and in this position, it's me, I don't have any other attorneys to do that with, and so I think this would be a great opportunity for me to learn, but also a benefit to the city as I learned from Dylan Frainer, that I can bring that back to the municipal court, I can bring it back to these meetings.
Is there a time frame on this, like you're doing it for 3 months or in perpetuity?
So we haven't worked out those details. The only details I know is that it would be every Tuesday. So I drive down in the morning and I drive down back probably later in the afternoon. I don't think it will affect my position here at all. I'll probably have to stay later on, throughout the rest of the week to get my work done here, but I think it's worth it because I'll be able to learn a lot in that position. So.
That was my question would be is how will that affect the workload we have here? Because we already keep moving up pretty good.
Yes, yeah. So I'm already.
Would that be cutting out 1 court day here, because once you guys do court Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I've already spoken with Judge Coster about this. He was very kind and is willing to work around that schedule, either placing all status checks on Tuesday. Generally my appearance, I can appear over the phone potentially. The other option would be to move court from, so that it would be on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And Judge Coster would be amenable then too?
He said that he would be okay with that. He's still checking with his court clerks to see if they would be okay with that. Right. So there's still some things that need to be worked out, but I think this would be a great opportunity. Driving down there every week, will probably get old, so any contract I enter into with the district attorney will probably be 6 months to a year tops, at least to begin, and we'll see.
Okay.
If there's a Tuesday that they don't need you, I assume you'd be here.
Yeah.
Are there questions from the council?
I agree. I think it's a great continuing education, because he's working with an actual on-hand attorney versus going to a class and sitting there. I think that's a great idea. I do worry about him all of a sudden, making his life miserable. He's going to gain a lot of experience in, say, ADO City. I worry about that. And traveling
How do
around.
you keep them on the farm once this?
Yeah, I've got a house here.
Okay.
And I was gonna say the same thing. Didn't wanna say in public that I'll break your legs if you leave us, but
You
I wouldn't say that.
I'd also recommend traveling that road, you better get a truck with a brush guard, an animal guard, because there are deer and elk.
That's what I'm gonna have to drive,
Yeah.
at least in the meantime.
And you get a big bunch for the firehouse, get a sample of what they got, because that's an animal party road, that's good luck. I think it's a great continuing education.
I have what's the pleasure of the council on this item?
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Councilman Olive, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilman Spears, any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. With that, we will move on to item 7, public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Bill Wolf, I do have one bit of public comment, and it's for Ernie. I think you talked about how there was no input into what the DOT guys are doing downtown on that project. And I know that the tree board at one time spent a lot of time working with those guys on some of the design characteristics. Certainly, they have their major concept that, all we can do is really nibble around the edges. But I know in the past, they've been amenable to discuss some of the features and stuff like that and how they're built. So if you have stuff you want to say, then I would certainly encourage you to, through the city council, make those concerns known to them. Because like I said, they have been willing in the past to work around some of these design stuff, and it's not just their vision, so.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
You guys are really top-heavy. Spending taxpayers' money, and I'm just sitting here getting nowhere. I'm being strangled by your regulations, and I'm bleeding financially because I can't get permits to conduct business. Mr. Mayor, again, I'm requesting a copy of all letters sent to those who gave approval to remove past due utility fees penalties on your agendas. The building in my property, 498 High Street, today has not been corrected. Again, I pay every month. I have not used all utilities. I pay the landfill, don't ever use it, but I pay it. I want to remind you, you had some filthy rich owners, 790 Avenue, I used all the utilities that you cut out after a bill, $4,000. That's discrimination. You got to stop that. Mr. Mayor, at a recent city council meeting, Mr. Allworth he stated that he knew a local property owner that had 30 lots but wouldn't sell them. I asked who that was, no response yet. Either it's true or it's not. I want a response. I want to know who that is. Also, Mr. Allworth claimed that there was an RV parked in my brother's property, plugged in the power, and someone was spinning broies on that lot. All distortions of the truth. There are 2 RVs there. They're not on the street, as others are in violation of the city code. Nobody was spinning broies on that lot. I talked to Eric Trujillo, who's number 2 man for NDOT, lives across the street. I asked him about dust. I asked him about noise. Nothing. Others, I've asked and got nothing yet. Either we stop the distortions and what I consider discrimination, or move on. That's it. Mr. Mayor, at the last RPC meeting last night, I approached the board and I told Leah Brown, one of the members, I don't know if you're the one that appointed her or if it was the county, within 100 feet, 1 block, 2 blocks, all kinds of violations. She hasn't done nothing. If she has, I asked for any kind of documentation. I've got nothing. Mr. Mayor, at Carson's Trailer Park on Orson Avenue, modular is on there. I had a renter on my property, same type of situation. I had a victim. This one is huge. Doesn't even meet setbacks. That's discrimination. I want to know what's going on. If they can do it, that's fine. I want to do it too. I've got lots that I can't rent, and yet I'm watching this kind of discrimination that needs to stop. Mr. Mayor, I told you about NDOT's curb and gutter project. I also want to remind you that I talked to a gentleman by the name of Peter Shaw, State ADA Compliance Officer. I gave this to the commission on 2019. He said, find some people in a wheelchair and sue. Here's the project on 14th and 15th. There's no handicap access. There's no sidewalk.
Mr. Chachas.
You need to address that, Mr. Mayor. Create rules and regulations and you ignore them. What are you going to do?
Mr. Chachas,
Yeah, I'll be back.
is there any other public comment? Hearing saying none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Oh, BJ,
There goes the neighborhood.
isn't your contract on the agenda coming out?
Really quick, I just want to say thank you. I really do enjoy this position and the things we get to do for the city. This is my hometown and we enjoy all the things we get to do for that. And one thing I want to express is truly one of the things that I'm proudest about and what we've been able to do here is our relationship that we've actually built with all of the city staff. We've got a great relationship with all of them. I truly tell them all the time, whenever I have conversations with them, that I actually learn from them all the time. I'm open to it. We all got different experiences and different areas of way we look at things, and so together we agree to be a great team together and do that. So, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate us.
No more public comment? All right. Thanks, BJ. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
All right.
Meeting adjourned. And there is a litigation set.
I'm leaving more with you.
Thank you all for.
Pardon me?
I said thank you for that. I think it'll be good.
How many times have you made that drive?
Several times.
Several?
I usually go the one route for one in Vegas, but
You go to the one round?
Are we going to litigate?
yeah, we're going to Highway 6, where you go through Vermont to go to Vegas.
No, that's the 318. Highway 6 is where you go through Beaver County.
Oh, okay.
Have you been to Beaver? You know where you go?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half.
It's like an extra.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.